Chapter 9 Talking to Gods. Jarius dropped the mighty Godslayer sword to clutch his chest with both hands. Jason almost ended his astral projection to aid Jarius, only to be stopped. No! Don't waste your time with Nezron. He is nothing more than a distraction. You already ensured that he cannot kill me. You know what to do next. Leave Nezron and Loth's tricks to me, Jarius said, then collapsed onto the floor, unconscious. The astral projection of Jason gave no indication to acknowledge his words. He merely stood there watching Jarius pass out. He teleported the slumbering body to the nearby bed within the ruined city of Titanus. Snapping his fingers, he called out, "Any Klemos in Carla?" Instantly, one undead, coherent Klemo teleported to his side. "Watch over our body. You may command as many undead as you desire in whatever manner you see fit. Your sole duty is to ensure the safety of Jarius. Do you understand?" Jason asked. "Yes." The Zinkarla acknowledged his orders. Jason turned to the hordes of undead that stood in wait around the city. "Other Klemos, you are with me. It is time we sought more help." The outskirts of Laguna. The three living, non-red Klemos warped into the outskirts of Laguna. Gray and Twinkle looked at Magic with a doubtful, fearful look. "Yeah, I hate walking too," Magic responded to their unspoken words. Magic waved his hand, tracing the air and speaking those odd words of arcane magic to cast his spell. The three companions glowed a dim gray outline. The spell succeeded. "My enchanted eyes do not see psychic auras around us," Gray commented. "That's because we are no longer psychic, so long as this spell is in effect," Magic explained. "I hate this. This is a bad idea," Twinkle said as they started to walk to the building they knew Red waited for them. "We have 15 minutes before we get there with our slow feet. If at any time you have a better idea, you have that long to spout it," Gray laughed. The ever-tortured mind of Jarius Kane. With the stabbing sensation entering the left leg, Jarius held in his shout of pain. The blood trickled out of the open wound as the serrated blade twisted out. "This is old," he said. "Not as old as you, old man," Nezron screamed, stabbing the other leg. The two stared into each other's eyes, both refusing to look away. Nezron full of resentment and anger, Jarius holding a perpetual look of indifference. "You are less than nothing," Jarius mouthed through the pain. Nezron stabbed into the left arm next. "I hold your fate. Your life is mine." "If you could kill me, you would have already done it by now. You are just an echo from a long-forgotten life. You have no soul because I ate the soul of the person you claim to be." Jarius did not raise his voice or tense his muscles as Nezron violently plunged the dagger repeatedly. The room was too dark to make out any details, with the exception of a figure standing behind Nezron. The figure made a hissing sound, followed by Nezron exploding. Loth stepped closer, allowing her seductive beauty to be gazed upon by an indifferent Jarius. "I hate failures. This pathetic creature couldn't even kill you from inside of your own head." Her voice vibrated with each syllable, subtly echoing around Jarius, taking long periods of time prior to entering his ears for comprehension. He looked at the goddess before him. Her eyes were blacker than the surrounding darkness. As she moved closer, Jarius felt an aura of fear emanating from her. "You have killed many of my demonic brothers and sisters. You have orchestrated this mortal to find a way to destroy us all. You created us and seek to end us. You now have my full, undivided attention." Her limbs transformed to spidery legs as they wrapped around him. They broke the metal and wooden restraints and took their place. Prickly little hairs rubbed across his wrists, ankles, neck, and torso. "It is time we had a little talk, and we will take all the time that I desired," Loth uttered through her transforming facial features. The city of Klemo. Jason's astral projection, along with countless thousands of Zinkarla Klemos, teleported into the ruins of the once mighty city. Looking around, the city was quiet. No light shined in this dead place within a dead universe. Buildings were toppled. Fires have long since been extinguished. I did not expect this. Jason's words echoed through the silent streets, being the first sound made in several days here. Psychic senses swirled with sudden activation. The predict gland within Jarius's head pulsated, making the astral construct of Jason instantly become aware of over 1,000,000 incoming teleportations. "Klemos, get ready!" Jason screamed to his minions. The sight of millions of Klemos arriving made Jason drop his guard for a brief moment. He expected to find Klemos here. He did not, however, expect to find their city in ruins. Looking at these identical Klemos, they differed not in the least. Jason once again prepared for a fight. They had 6 arms, red skin, glowing eyes, and powerful auras that far outmatched his astral projection and his tiny army of Zinkarla Klemos. Each one of these 6-armed red Klemos could probably take out everything Jason had. The first red sped to Jason, using an ability that matched the speed of Grazd. That superb, lightning-fast movement barely gave Jason enough time to phase his body, making the red pass through him without harm. Red reached the first Zinkarla Klemo. Instead, he stopped, confused at the sight. "What the fuck? Undead Klemos!" Red shouted. "This is bullshit. We can't do anything with these." Jason vanished from sight, entering the mind of the red that just spoke. His psychic defenses immediately pushed Jason out. "Holy shit, I've never been rejected from a mind before." "And who the fuck are you supposed to be? How did a non-Klemo get here?" Red screamed at Jason. The nearest Zinkarla rushed to attack this red. He was obliterated with a thought. A scorch mark on the ground was all that remained of that Zinkarla. "Klemos, escape!" Jason shouted the command. The Zinkarlas attempted to teleport back the way they came, but nothing happened. "We cannot. Something is blocking our escape," one of them shouted to Jason with their guttural voice. "Then get away from these corrupted Klemos," Jason ordered. The Reds ceased to hold back. All of them charged in, teleporting in, flying in, speeding in, and bulldozing in with their brute strength. Almost half the Zinkarlas were torn asunder before the rest could escape with a quick teleport. This left only Jason's astral projection, to which every Red looked directly at. Their murmurs and whispers flowed through the crowd. "He's an astral projection," many said, while others said, "This is a waste of time." Most just retorted with laughter at the sight of Jason. "It is time," came a telepathic message into his mind. All around the scene, portals opened up. Those very same Dagon tentacles thrust out to attack every red that was exposed. This particular Dagon assault was nothing but a distraction. From behind Jason, a portal opened. A glowing green tentacle snatched Jason inside, then closed. The Reds continued to be distracted by the tentacles. Massive power blasts, flailing swords, explosions, limbs stretching unnaturally, light bursts, tornadoes, earthquakes, laser blasts, eye lasers, the air forming solid metal spikes, and so much more unbelievable powers were employed by the countless Reds, finally having something to do. Outside of a tavern in Laguna, Magic, Gray, and Twinkle looked at each other. These 3 were good at what they did, possibly the best. Throughout the years, they have picked up a lot of skills, not just in ways of combat. Right at that moment, they were employing one of those skills gained, the ability to communicate without words. Their hands gestured to each other in sign language. "This is the place," Magic signed. Twinkle looked around nervously. "I really hate that we can't teleport right now," he signed to the other 2 while still looking around. Gray frowned. "You already know that this is the only way to prevent him from detecting us. Her hands jerked, signing an annoyed movement, indicating her frustration with it as well. Magic pointed at the roof, then pointed at Twinkle. You take the roof. There is a window you could sneak in from. He then pointed to Gray. Since you are the smallest of us, it would be best if you crawl under the building and enter through the basement. I will go in through the front door to hopefully gain his full attention. Magic stopped signing. He placed his hands over his face to mentally prepare himself. After a few seconds, he opened his eyes to look at his two compatriots. This could last. This could be the last time we ever... Gray grabbed him by the hand, stopping his signing. We know, she signed with her free hand. Twinkle began scaling the wall. He turned to the others with one hand. He said, Exactly 120 seconds is when we all enter at the same time. Go! Jarius and Loth. Jarius had all of his limbs removed. No blood flowed from them. Pain was overwhelming. The large, spidery goddess gnawed on his severed arm. She paused her eating. Father, I am having a lot of fun at your agony. I just wanted you to know that. How long do you think it will be before I kill you? Jarius asked through exasperated lips. Loth threw the limb across the dark room. Her 8 long, black, sharp legs moved to Jarius with her large, black abdomen bouncing as green, poisonous liquid dripped from her rear. So confident, aren't you? Your body is helpless right now. You're in Titanus. I'll kill you now, she said, clutching her face. And his face. Through the pain, he smiled. If you could kill me, you would have already done it by now. You have no more power over me than Nezron did. Loth held him in the air with one hand while her 2 front legs dug into his chest to further torture him. They stabbed through, tearing at the flesh with their barbs and serrated edges. She ripped out his heart. You know I really like your ritual of agony that you did to become Lich. She held the heart impaled by one of her legs. Still beating, the heart levitated off of the leg, floating in the air. However, I find it a bit lacking. Let me show you a slightly different version that you are just going to love. Her face formed that of a beautiful dark-skinned woman once again. Pointing with her slender, free hand at the heart, a dark energy fired from her fingertip, enveloping it. The heart shriveled, blackened, oozed black slime, yet still continued to beat. Each beat felt like a knife plunging into his chest. The pain increased exponentially as the heart struggled with each and every beat, pussing out that black slime every time. On his body, his veins and arteries turned black as the ooze pumped through his body. You didn't think the pain would extend into your soul, did you? Loth smirked. Creed and I have a perfected torture far beyond what even you created during your time. Jarius could not move his face. The heart continued to magically pump that vile poison throughout his body. You created such massive weapons that could kill gods, universes, and even render paradoxes into insignificant bumps in space-time. You never had an appreciation for the little things. She curled her pointer finger, magically dragging him closer to her face. It is the little things that hold true uniqueness and limitless possibilities. This magic courses through you. It tortures your soul. I love how the pain cuts deep. Mortal wounds do it an injustice, I must say. The ooze poured out his pores, bleeding out. Physical pain only goes so far. This activates an ocean of depression, sadness, doubt, fear, and anxiety. There are mortal limits and restraints to such negativity within a person. With this, I can remove those limitations and toss you far into a spiral of desolation that even as I speak, you are wishing for permanent death. Tears fell from his eyes. Loth caught the first tear. Oh, this is truly a triumph, she said, bringing the tear to her mouth, tasting it. You never believed one of the creations could ever make the great Cretan cry. Loth raved with laughter and delight. I win, old man. I have broken you. Loth spun around, dancing her spider legs in triumphant victory. She laughed as her spidery legs slowly churned and converted into a humanoid shape. Her dark elf form formed in full fruition. Pale Knight! Loth called out. The room erupted into light as Pale Knight materialized into view. The ghostly demon lord of light said nothing. He didn't bother to shield her skin from the light, causing her to show her true spider form as it exposed her. With a guttural, venomous voice, Loth spoke. Go to Titanus. Kill his body. His soul is dying, and his body is ready to die as well. Jason and Dagon. Amidst an endless black and purple void, the tentacles spanned in every direction. The astral projection of Jason observed them, especially the one that currently wrapped around his astral form. His eyes followed it. He looked to where it led them to reach a center mass of not just suction-cupped covered tentacles, but a massive body. The body of Dagon was almost the size of Demogorgon in his final form. The mouth of Dagon held open, revealing several hundred rows of sharp teeth. His eyes were solid black, yet Jason could tell they were focused on him. The large black fish eyes stared at the astral projection. Jason, I already have you. Dagon roared. His voice boomed into an echo surrounding the expanding all over throughout this spatial realm. It is then that the astral projection looked above Dagon to see two human-shaped outlines that emitted psychic signatures. The human shapes glowed, surrounded by a spectral field. Connected to that field was a trail of psychic energy that led to Dagon. Why haven't you absorbed the real me and Alvaro? Jason asked. Dagon bellowed with laughter for a moment. Tentacles writhed all around, from the laughter rolling around like chaotic jelly. Unlike most psychics, those two are too powerful to absorb. I am slowly draining them instead. And you need me because I'm a copy. It won't do anything to absorb me since you have the real me. Jason's astral projection stretched out his arms, indicating his confusion. Dagon swiftly moved his body to less than 3 feet from Jason's astral projection. Or the tentacle dragged him. It was impossible to tell which occurred. You have quite the ego for a copy. I do not care about you or even the real you. Jason cocked his head in confusion. Then Jason was interrupted. I will be Cretan again. Surprise caught the astral projection completely off guard. Even after delving so far into the Cretan memories inside of Jarius' head, Jason never imagined that this would or could be possible. So much so that his face flashed, losing shape entirely. You? But how? The astral projection exclaimed, attempting to reform his face through the shock of the realization. Dagon laughed a second time. So the great Jason, my other self's creation, doesn't know everything after all. What? Who? How are you? Jason struggled to find the words. Cretan is so much more than a god compared to a god. You have absolutely no idea. Jason corrected with a smirk forming his face again. Dagon narrowed his eyes. Instead of anger, the new god calmed down. Soon. Much sooner than you or even Jarius planned. I still don't understand. What are you really? Jason asked. Prism, Dagon calmly retorted. Jason didn't get another opportunity to respond. Dagon threw the astral projection, tossing him to a newly opened portal. The portal abruptly closed after he entered. Klemos in Laguna. Red twiddled his two lowest thumbs, fiddled with a knife with his two middle hands, and cracked his top hand's knuckles. They are taking much longer to rescue you than I expected. Honestly, Klemo, I really thought they would come to your rescue immediately. You versions of me are really letting me down here. Magic burst through the door, using a minor spell to break it off the hinges. He ran into the room, immediately spotting Red. Red looked directly at him. Magic charged ahead to attack the horrible Klemo. Twinkle flipped off of the ceiling that he was holding onto, dropping with his blades pointing at Red. Gray burst through the floor, swords raised to stab. Red smiled as his upper right arm pointed to Twinkle, his middle left at Gray, and his bottom right to Magic. Kinetics burst out to push his attackers away. Magic deflected it with a counterspell. He continued to run Red's direction. Gray took the full blunt of the kinetics, burst falling back onto the hole she just made into the floor. Twinkle kicked off of the kinetic burst, twisting the momentum to his advantage, increasing his fall speed to stab into Red, successfully stabbing both of his blades into Red's back. Magic charged a spell on his fist, punching Red in the face, breaking Red's jaw in the process. Magic screamed his rage at the spell, casting further enhancing the attack. Red was knocked back with Twinkle's sword sticking out of his back. Twinkle wasted no time unsheathing two more daggers, charging towards Red. Impressive! You actually didn't teleport in as I expected. Red spat blood on the ground as his jaw slowly healed itself. Gray flipped out of the hole, only to be knocked back in by Red smacking her with his three left fists. This gave Twinkle the chance to stab forward. Red attempted to hit Twinkle with his three right fists, only for Twinkle to flip over it, stabbing Red in the chest with his two new daggers. Red staggered back as Magic rushed in, hitting those two new daggers with his magic fist, thrusting them fully in. Red teleported to the other side of the room, grabbing the four blades with his various hands, ripping them out. Blood splashed across the air from the sudden removal. Gray climbed out. She gripped her twin swords as she rushed to Red to double stab him. Red pointed at her, ready to explode her into a mush stain all over the tavern. "Counter!" yelled Magic as he prevented the comrade from dying. His momentum was not slowed down. She reached her target, with swords raised high. With a swift swing, she chopped off the two upper arms. Gray laughed as she jumped back, fully expecting immediate retaliation from him. Red swung his four remaining arms at the empty air in front of himself. "Thought you were gonna keep knocking me down too fucking bad," she screeched at Red, taunting him. The four-armed Klemo turned his full attention to Gray, completely forgetting about Twinkle sneaking behind him, moving to a tactical position. Red threw two of the blades at her. She ducked, avoiding the fatal blows. Magic threw a spell. The spell was deflected with the flick of his wrist. "Oh, this is just too fun. You versions put up a much better fight than any other," Red taunted. Twinkle made his move, lunging forward, wielding two additional daggers that were sheathed inside of a magical sheath within the inner lining of his dagger. The sheath had an enchantment on it that produced an endless supply of daggers. They weren't magical daggers themselves, beyond being limitless in numbers. Twinkle stabbed into his back, twisting them inside as he stabbed. Red swung around, attempting to hit Twinkle with his fist. Twinkle never stopped moving his legs, even when stabbing. Automatically, without even thinking about it, Twinkle flipped over Red while stabbing him. He was still behind the red Klemo. Twinkle didn't stop. He threw more daggers and thrusted them into Red while dancing around the distracted Klemo, flipping more blades while pushing them into the opponent. Flip, stab, dodge, stab. Twinkle fully concentrated on his foe's movements, anticipating the next movement, countering with his own each and every time. Gray and Magic stayed back, unable to target Red with spells or blades due to Twinkle's incredible reflexes. "Get him!" Magic cheered on his comrade. "You're doing it, Twinkle!" Gray shouted. "I can help," the tied-up Klemo interjected. As Twinkle continued his assault dance with Red, Gray turned to Junior. "Magic, keep helping Twinkle." She ran to Junior to untie him. Magic didn't say anything. His attention was focused on Red and Twinkle. He was preparing several spells to cast the moment they were needed. Gray swung her blade up, cutting the restraints of Junior in a singular slash. Junior hopped out of his chair, drawing Fission. "Finally!" Fission said with excitement at the prospect of joining the fray. "How does it feel to finally lose to what you perceive as an inferior Klemo?" Twinkle taunted as he dodged additional blows from Red. "I wouldn't know." Red, exasperated, attempted to breathe, unable to keep up with Twinkle. Red was experiencing blood loss. That was surpassing his healing factor. He realized that he couldn't keep up. He attempted to teleport away. This was what Magic was waiting for. "Redirect!" Magic screamed the spell, redirecting Red's teleport. Red vanished from sight, only to reappear inside of the adjacent wall. His lower half was fused. Red held no surprise on his face. He did not distract or deter him in the least. He pushed his forearms onto the wall to remove the upper half from the wall. Screaming in exertion, Red actually ripped his lower half from his body to get out of the wall. Junior had Fission raised to strike, but was too shocked at the sight of Red dismembering himself to attack. Holy shit! "Yeah, he can't feel pain and will regenerate. Get out of the way if you aren't going to strike." Gray pushed Junior out of the way, rushing forward to attack the half Klemo. She swung her blades down to strike. He caught the two blades with his two middle arms. Now his upper arms, already tiny hands, sprouted from his two upper arm wounds, where his arms were moments ago. Twinkle stabbed down from behind the half Klemo. Red stabbed in the lower arms, but those arms grasped Twinkle's arms in the effort. "Kortash!" Red screamed a spell, halting Magic's paralyzing him. Red continued to chant that magical word, preventing Magic from doing anything. None of the three older Klemos could do anything with Red, while Red held them. Junior, the youngest Klemo, combined Fission into a singular larger blade. He wasted no more time. His body acted almost automatically, snapping out of his shock, seizing the opportunity before him. With a single swing, Klemo hacked off the head of Red. "Die!" Fission shouted, a war cry as Klemo struck. The head rolled on the ground, immediately lifeless. The forearms relaxed their grip, releasing Gray and Twinkle. Magic could move again. Magic Klemo slowly stood up. "Oh my god, by Sabin, we actually did it!" Magic was surprised by their victory. Gray bent down over the body. She looked at him, holding a scowl. Her hands shook, then she uncontrollably stabbed Red repeatedly. Twinkle stepped back, giving her space, allowing her to vent her frustration and rage on the corpse before them. Junior sheathed Fission as two separate blades to her sides. From behind, Gray, he placed his hand on her shoulder to reassure her. "We did it! Gray, relax." She stabbed one final time into the body of Red. Tears streamed down her face. She twisted her blades. She looked back to Junior, looming over her from behind. "There has never been a worse being to exist in all of the realms." Magic stepped forward. "You aren't going to like what I'm about to say, but there are a million more of him, and we barely beat this one," she finished the statement. Titanus. The sky ignited in bright light as pale night arrived. Countless ghosts materialized in the sky, ground, and surrounding air. The undead zombies were rendered motionless by the nearby spectral forces. Pale night descended down from the sky, slowly moving to the unconscious body of Jarius Kane. The outstretched hand moved ever closer to end the life of the father of all demons. The nearby Zinkarla Klemos could do nothing. A portal opened up in between Jarius and Pale Night. Out spat Jason's astral projection. The ghostly demon lord did not slow their pace at the sight of Jason. "Even you cannot stop me from killing him." Pale Knight's voice was slow and watery. giving off an echo with their spoken form. Jason focused his psychic thoughts aimed at Pale Knight. Are you sure about that? Jason released a wave of psychic energy at Pale Knight that pushed them back. The Demon Lord continued to move forward, unhindered by the pushback. Jason released another wave, pushing the Demon Lord back a second time. How many times can you do that, mortal? Pale Knight asked, as it moved once again. Jason needed some other option. He quickly snapped his fingers as an idea occurred to him. With one hand, Jason pointed at Jarius, firing a beam of psychic energy connecting him. The beam didn't stop as it formed into a tether. With his other hand, he pointed at the Godslayer sword, laying on the ground. I'm not much of a swordsman, but you are pretty slow, Jason said as the sword flew into his hands. The tether moved to his back, freeing up his hands. Jason lunged at the incoming Demon Lord of specters and ghosts. Pale Knight began casting a magical spell at Jason, hurled himself its direction. Counterspell, Jason said just as Pale Knight cast his spell, causing the unknown spell to dissipate and do nothing. How? You don't know magic, Pale Knight exclaimed. I can do anything he can do right now, Jason said as his astral body reached Pale Knight. Jason punched the Demon Lord, knocking him back. He rushed forward into the air to further combat Pale Knight. Pale Knight outstretched his hands that ignited in fire and light. Jason sliced those hands off with the sword, then grabbed Pale Knight by the throat. I'm made of the same stuff as you. I don't need a spell to touch you. Yes, this sword, the strength of Ammon, his arcane powers, and... Jason stabbed into Pale Knight, fully plunging the blade in. The Demon Lord of Light felt itself getting drained. When you drained him, turning him into an old man, I was watching. I saw how you did it. That power, I copied it. First, his youth shall be restored. Jason looked at Jarius. A beam of light exited Pale Knight, entering the body of Jarius. Pale Knight dimmed as Jarius reverted back to his youth. The now ambient and motionless Pale Knight was withered and couldn't speak due to the draining. Oh, and we're going to need those warlock powers back, plus interest. Jason chuckled as Pale Knight's spectral body was fully taken by the psychic beam, connecting itself and Jarius. Pale Knight stretched, swirling and hurling against its will to Jarius. No! Pale Knight shouted as his body entered the dead ring Jarius wore that once held the demon Raminus. The ring turned white from Pale Knight's empowering it. The ghostly demons attempted to leave out of fear of their master Pale Knight being defeated. Oh, where do you think you're going? Jason said, holding the Godslayer sword up high. You see, I wield this godly weapon and still possess the necromancy of Orcus. You will obey my command without a choice. Not out of compulsion, but out of a pull I now have over you. The spectral undead ghosts uncontrollably flew into the Godslayer sword, being absorbed without a choice. The power acted like a black hole. They couldn't escape it. The full process happened quickly. The Zinkarlas and remaining undead were now free from the paralyzing effects. Jason opened his hands, letting go of the Godslayer sword, allowing it to float next to him, commanded by his will alone. Floating down to the ground where Jarius lay helpless and unconscious, Jason placed his hand on his forehead. Jarius Kane, I will leave you in Loth's hands for much longer than you would prefer. I command all of your powers while you are in this state. With the exception of your current state, things are going exactly as you planned. Do myself and yourself a favor and keep her distracted because I am coming for her very soon. Jason kinetically picked up the curled Jarius, physically strapping his creator onto his back. Klemos, we have work to do. Time to expand our forces a little more. End of chapter 9.